Hi everybody, I haven't done a book review for quite a few weeks because I'm working on one particular book which has taken a long time to read and I'm coming to the end of it. So I'm going to review a book I read a couple of years ago today and just discuss a few things about the book and how it made me feel and what I thought about it. So the book I'm going to review today is by Nabeel Qureshi, and it's called No God But One, Allah or Jesus. No God But One, Allah or Jesus. A former Muslim investigates the evidence for Islam and Christianity by Nabeel Qureshi. Now, before I bought this religious book, I'd already watched a lot of Nabeel Qureshi's lectures, presentations, conversion stories, philosophy thoughts, and experience from going from being a Muslim to a Christian. So I already knew quite a sufficient amount about his life and about his changeover or transfer to Christianity. Now, this is the kind of book you suspect before you put online that you're going to get grief from one side over the other, and it's something I've thought, do I want to get involved in that debate? I just want to review a book. I've read the Quran and it's like, do I really want to review the Quran and be getting into the side of apologetics or feelings and thoughts about a religion that is a dangerous area to go in your life when you just want to be basically reviewing books. And this is where I am with this book now. So I'm gonna give this book a 4 out of 5. Nabeel Qureshi is a beautiful human being who sadly passed away when he was progressing with his life after years of battling the most vitriol, hatred and disgusting human beings that walk the face of the earth that went after him for converting and changing religion. Now, the book itself discusses the process and the processes. The book discusses the processes of his intellectual fight to stay a Muslim. Now, what I find so laughable is when you read his book about this. I think he's done a few books. You'll have to forgive me because I'm just doing this video ad hoc this morning. But rather than like read some bullet points out and go over it like most YouTubers, I'm just trying it like this as a channel at the moment. One of the things that I find truly outrageous and disgusting, and it's the very nature of human beings, is Nabeel Qureshi was probably, in fact I'm not saying probably because that's out of the window, he was an exceptional Muslim when he was a Muslim. He was extremely intelligent, he had an extremely high IQ, and he was a devout Muslim who fought to the very last fibre of his soul to stay Muslim. So he not only was, in a scoring ratio by definition, a superior Muslim to 90+%, 95% of Muslims out there that run around with their fighting mentality for the religion of peace, who went after Nabeel Qureshi, and even still today you can see comments on videos about him and how they were about him dying of cancer, and how disgusting they all are. The group of people specifically I'm talking about, and they were the most disgusting human beings walking the face of the earth. Now, if you justify that behaviour based on what you've been brought up to believe is correct in defence of something that you believe, then I have nothing to say to you personally, because I don't want to dialogue with that kind of mindset. But my point is this man that had been attacked on a tremendous scale that no human being should have to deal with, fought to his last fibre, to his last piece of string on the rope of his life, hanging on by a thread to stay a Muslim. And that's the key thing that I remember about reading Nabeel Qureshi's book, is I couldn't believe how long he stayed a Muslim when he was getting presented the evidence about not only his religion but about Christianity as well. And what's very, very powerful about this book, as someone who's been around myself a lot of Muslims, I really feel for them. I really feel sad for them. I feel sad for the fact that they are brought up to believe things that are utterly nonsense. And when you listen to Nabeel Qureshi's life experience on his journey through being a devout and beautiful Muslim to a Christian, the pain he went through on that transition was just beyond words. I can't explain to you what he must have gone through, were beyond words, for him to change from one religion to another. A religion, he loved Muhammad, he loved Islam, he loved everything about it. And I've been around a massive amount of Muslims in my life, and I know that Nabeel was one of the most, if I'd have personally met him, I think he was probably one of the most devout and profoundly beautiful Muslims that would have, he was the perfect archetype. But because he actually challenged a Christian, which is a famous YouTuber, but he challenged a famous Christian, right? And the tit for tat debate between them ended up leading him, Nabeel, into Christianity after having many, I think it was about a period of a couple of years, I think, transformation, where he realised that the things that he had been told proved Islam to be true, or proved the doctrines of Islam to be true, were fraudulently false. And he transferred over much pain and much anguish, and he was in turmoil, and he knew that if he left the religion of Islam, he was going to lose his most close relationships with members of his family. But because he wanted to live in truth and to have a relationship with God, he made that. And I think eventually he repaired certain relationships based on my memory. So it's a fantastic journey. I would encourage every Muslim that I know to pick a copy of this and read it, because I know that it's really painful when something you've been brought up to believe is the truth, because of everything it's been presented to you in a certain way, and it's attacked or it's dismissed. I understand it's extremely painful when you have a philosophy or a belief about something that you identify, and you have been taught things that make you proud to be part of that community, part of that faith, I understand it's extremely painful for it to be attacked. I understand that it upsets you because you take in the prophet into your heart as a person, and that religion is profoundly part of your identity, and that even one or two things said against it hurt you. But I'm going to recommend this book to you and say to you, if the odds are too high, if the costs are too high, and this is what he went through, if the costs are too high, that you would rather say or stay a certain way, because if you change your beliefs or if you change your life, you're going to lose too much, then I understand that. But if you really believe in a divine truth where you are right now, and you do a lot of research, more than you just getting told by other people who you trust are experts in it, and you trust that they are telling you the truth, step out of that paradigm and do your own research. And then if you find that what you've been told is mostly or quite largely lies, and you've been lied to your whole life, you're going to get mad, you're going to be angry at your own community. But then the question is, do you still want to have a relationship with the Creator? If you do want to still have a relationship with your Creator, then you're going to have to make a transfer of your heart over to the Lord Jesus Christ. Alright? And to come to Christ, to come to the Gospels. That's how I feel about it. I would say that it's truly upsetting to read a person's experience as he's fought every potential fight. He went to every degree to stay in his birth faith in Islam. He stayed, and it's tragic that the people that have attacked him online when he became a Christian, the people that attacked him online and gave him incountable death threats because of the apostasy laws, incountable threats and offensive remarks, even people celebrating his death when he had nothing but love for Muslims. When he became a Christian, he still had nothing but love for Muslims, and he mourned the loss of worshipping or loving his prophet. When you have a person that went through so much turmoil and pain, when he was challenging another man to change his religion, so let's just be clear, he started this, and the Christian that he challenged him, who was a roommate with him at university, said, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And not long after, well, maybe a year or two, I forget the time span, he lost, and he lost the war for truth. And then Nabeel tried everything he could, but he was a devout and super holy religious person. He was a devout Muslim, more devout than any Muslim that I've ever met in person myself, and I've met a lot of Muslims. And I find it funny that the people that have attacked him over the years since his story became more popular, the people that attacked him are, like all human nature, are just total scumbags who didn't even practice the faith of Islam themselves, more than likely. Most of the comments and the vitriol against him were from people who just sat at home watching videos online, who didn't go to the mosque 5 times a day, and who weren't deep devout Muslims. And that's what's really sad about it, because he was actually a really, really devout and profound Muslim, one who would actually be an ambassador to the faith when he believed in it. And he, as I keep saying to you, he fought tooth and nail on every fibre of his being to stay in his faith, and that's something that comes out in the book, which is very frustrating when you're reading it, because it literally was presented so many truths, because I'm not going to say they were counter arguments, because they are just truths to things that he was brought up to believe or to have answers towards or against Christianity. You know, he was a really aggressive Muslim, in the sense that he wanted everybody to become Muslims, and he wanted to promote and push his faith, because he loved it so much, onto everybody who was not Muslim. And yet when he found out that there were things that he had been told as an extremely high intelligent man, very high IQ, and way more intelligent than me, way more intelligent than you listening to this, more than likely, and he eventually woke up and he fought tooth and nail, and when you read this you can really feel the fight he had. But that is one of the things about human nature. Somebody who was by his very nature a very good human being, somebody that I wish I could have known personally. I think once he transferred or converted into Christianity, you could still feel, after so much persecution, after so much attack from Muslims and from the Muslim population and from Islam, he still stood on stage and talked about his love for Muslims, his love for his fellow Muslims, that he wanted to help them come to the Lord, because he knew his journey was extremely painful and extremely long, and it was a battle. So I'm not going to say much more. I highly recommend this if you're a Muslim. I highly recommend this if you're a Muslim. And if you feel that you believe in your faith so much that you wouldn't need to read this, because you just know you're right, then what are you frightened of? That's what I'll say to you. What are you frightened of? Give it a read. Just give it a read and see how his journey, and the lies that he was told, actually, and that the things that he was told were lies, and he was really shocked, because he believed in the mainstream family orientated view of a faith that people are born into. So that's how I'm going to leave this video. If you believe your faith is so strong, then I would recommend you read it and see what is the other side of it. Why do people leave my faith? Because I'm telling you, this guy was probably far more faithful to his birth faith than you are. Someone who practiced it in every category and in every era he could. He walked it, lived it, breathed it. He was, by all definitions, the perfect Muslim, and yet he left that faith. And I know from my own experience with Muslims, many of you fall short as a Christian. I do in Christianity, but many fall short of the doctrines and insisted lifestyle and conduct that are very strict. Well, this man followed it and lived it and breathed it, and still he could not avoid the truth. So if you believe in your faith so strongly, I would recommend you buy this book and you read it and you challenge the arguments in it and see if Nabeel Qureshi missed some way of challenging it, and maybe he made a mistake. Because when you get to the end of it, he presents arguments to his Christian friends, and they come back with their answers to him, and it becomes quite absurd. But when you get past the most foundational arguments that Muslims make against Christianity, and the counter arguments are so overwhelming, they're a tsunami, they're so overwhelming, and even though he kept going through these battles bit by bit, he still stayed a really true and decent Muslim. And when he left Islam, he became an incredible Christian who was by definition a true Christian who loved Muslims. It's easy for us to hate each other. It's easy for us to think that because we have found what we consider the truth, that the other side should be seen as less human, or, you know, they are perhaps stupid in certain aspects of views about different subjects. But you've got to love each other. We have to still love each other and be respectful to each other. And I struggle with some apologetics, Christian apologetics, when they're disrespectful, but at the same time understand why they're doing that, because they're saying, look, you guys over there, and we know that you think you're in the right category of worshipping God, or the right side to God, but you're not. And we're trying to shock you, wake you up, and make you realise that you're not. You've been taught wrong, you've been told a lot of lies, and until you do a lot of research and go through that risk and journey, quite honestly, you aren't going to get anywhere, because you have to really look into things. And sadly, it's a terrifying journey which I wish not on anybody. So if you are a Muslim person who is having doubts, this would be a very comforting story that would help you. But it's a big decision, it's a massive decision, and my heart goes out to you if you are a Muslim who, through finding discussions and debates on YouTube, it's made you realise, but you still aren't prepared to, or can't make that step and say it's just not true. And when you read this book and a lot of the other books that I've studied and debates I've watched, you can just not, in all honesty, be intelligent and know the evidence is there and stay on. That's what's so frustrating me with this. It was like this guy was supremely intelligent, and he just didn't want to accept it. His every argument was being cast aside as nonsense and lies, the lies that he'd been told, and he was being presented over and over again, the lies that he'd been told as a child from imams and from his father who he revered. Anyway, eventually made it, and his life became a perfect example of a Christian, and that's it. So if you are having any difficulties with your faith, then I pray for you, and I genuinely hope that you find peace, and I hope that you have found this video and you buy his book and you experience his journey if you're experiencing something similar in your own life. And if you're going to just come on and just say, well, no, it's the truth, you're wrong, I'm not interested in that debate. I'm just basically talking to you about this guy. This guy's got enough YouTube videos. His friend David Wood has enough videos on the internet, on YouTube, for you to get your teeth into. I'm not a Christian apologetics person. I'm just expressing my feelings about this book. So don't come at me, because I'm not interested in that kind of fight, because I've seen it so much over 15 years of study, and I just think it's got to be done in a peaceful and loving way. We've got to discuss things in a peaceful and loving way, which is what also moved Nabeel, because the Christians around him discussed it in a very profoundly loving and respectful way, because they were very intelligent people who understand that discussions of things that can and will be highly emotional should be done in peace and love, for the truth to truly settle where it needs to settle. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I give it a 4 out of 5. It's a truly wonderful story, and very, very moving. It's a very moving story, and it's even more tragic that Nabeel died. And to Nabeel's family, I'm so sorry that happened. For David Wood, his best friend, I'm really sorry that happened at that time, even though it's a long time ago now. But he has had an impact. I would just say to them, I know that he's had a massive impact on so many people's lives, and even myself, I'd say he's even had an impact on me, because he was, by all definition, a really, really good human being. So if you've enjoyed this video, give it a like. What are your thoughts about people's journeys and their difficulties in whatever background and whatever religion, when they come to find out what they've been told for many, many years or their whole lives has been misinformation or just not true or damn right lies? What's your thoughts on that? Because obviously when you get older and you start researching things, I've been through this in my own life about certain things. Ironically, I was told a lot of negative things and lies about Christianity, which were just not true. As I've got older and done my own research, I was encouraged to move away from believing in the Gospels and the Bible due to a lot of lies. So in some sense, I'm in the opposite position, because I did a lot of research and found that they were being told things that just weren't true. So that's it for today's video. This has been the British Bookworm. I hope you are all well. I pray for you if you're having a battle of the mind and the heart and faith and in the truth. If you are like Nabeel Qureshi, I feel sorry. I pray for you, and I hope that you find peace. And that's the end of the video. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and thank you for watching. This has been the British Bookworm. See you later.